The great hall of the Zorathi Empire was filled with warriors from a dozen species, each towering in height and clad in armor forged from the bones of conquered beasts. They had come not for war, but for marriage. Princess Kaelira stood before them, her golden crown resting uneasily on her brow. She was tall, graceful, and strong, but her face carried the marks of battle. A jagged scar ran from her left brow down to her cheek, earned during the last war against the Kurnai raiders. Among the Zorathi, scars were once symbols of honor, but now, in an age of vanity and perfect genetics, they were seen as disfigurements. One by one, the suitors declined. A reptilian warlord clicked his mandibles in disdain. A cybernetic knight shook his head and muttered about imperfection. Even her own people, the Zorathi generals, lowered their eyes and refused. The rejection cut deeper than any blade had. The princess, who had bled for her empire, who had saved colonies from fire, now stood unwanted in her own court. Then the last of the suitors stepped forward. He was small compared to the rest, his armor simple, his stance relaxed. He was human. His name was Captain Daniel Reeve. The court erupted in whispers. Humanity was new to the Interstellar Council, young and underestimated. What could a fragile biped of Earth possibly offer a princess of scars? Daniel bowed slightly, his eyes steady on hers. Unlike the others, he did not flinch at the mark across her face. He looked at her as though the scar made her stronger, not lesser. "Why do you stare, human?" Kaelira asked, her voice sharp, her pride bruised from endless refusals. Daniel's lips curved into the hint of a smile. "Because I see someone who fought and lived, a survivor, a leader. Scars aren't ugly, they're stories." The hall went silent. No one had spoken of the scar as anything but shame. Kaelira studied him, unsure whether to laugh at his boldness or admire his honesty. The Zorathi Emperor rose, his voice booming. "Human, do you know what you risk? To claim my daughter is to share her burden, her enemies, and her throne. Many warriors here have rejected her for less. Daniel did not falter. Then I accept her burdens as she accepts mine. You call it risk. I call it partnership." Kaelira's heart, long guarded by walls of steel, cracked open. For the first time since the war, she felt seen, not as a scarred reminder of battles past, but as a woman, a leader, worthy of respect. The Emperor narrowed his eyes, testing. And if she bore more scars? If her beauty was shattered entirely? Daniel's reply was firm. Then she would still be Kaelira, and I would still stand beside her. Gasps spread across the chamber. The reptilian warlord snarled. The cybernetic knight scoffed. But in Kaelira's chest, something fierce and warm awakened. She stepped down from the dais, her armored boots echoing across the hall. For the first time, she reached for a suitor's hand, not out of duty, but choice. Her fingers brushed Daniel's, and he did not hesitate. He held her hand as though it was the most natural thing in the galaxy. The Emperor watched in silence, his sharp eyes softening. Finally he spoke. "So be it. The princess has chosen. Let it be known across the stars. The scarred princess of Zorath is not unwanted. She is claimed by a human who sees her strength, not her flaw." The court roared in shock, some in fury, others in awe. But none could deny what they had witnessed. That night, as the banners of 1,000 worlds fluttered in the wind, Kaelira stood with Daniel on the balcony overlooking her empire. "You are a strange man, human," she murmured. "Others saw only imperfection, and you saw me." Daniel squeezed her hand gently. "Every warrior refused you because they feared what your scar represented. But I've lived on Earth. We don't fear scars. We wear them. They remind us of what we've survived. For the first time in many years, Kalira smiled. Not the polite smile of a royal, but the raw, unguarded smile of a woman who had finally been accepted. The galaxy would whisper about them, mock them, even challenge them. But together, they were unshakable. And so it was written in the chronicles of the stars. Every warrior refused the scarred alien princess until the human made her his bride.